And then somebody says Hook is some fucking girl says on Twitter, Hook is what? Stokely, I hate your bald ass so much. And then Big Stoke on Twitter goes, wow, Hook will pay for his crimes. It was confirmed that there was a forearm fracture which required a cast. I am distraught. I rolled dice with my left arm. Please don't make me sue this company, Tony Khan. Please, you know that a portrait of your father that's hanging in your office? Well, once I own this company, I'm replacing it with a big ass photo of James Brown. Yep. Every time you see the Godfather of Soul sweating in drug-fueled rage at the Apollo, you're gonna think of me. Sounds pretty miserable, bro. Do the right thing. Punish this little bastard Hook and write me a fat check. By the way, here's a photo of me with my best friend Al Sharpton. It means absolutely nothing, by the way. Blushing face. But somebody tweeted, he tweeted, Hook is a piece of shit, and then somebody tweeted this. Some woman, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jacked. 6'3" bro he met until they pulled their first back to beat him up. Whereupon my ex would go, hey, come on. I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. No, it's just also my birthday. I'm a birthday boy. It somehow always worked. And then Stokely just quote tweets it. Fuck you. Tony Brown, but who the fuck's in the background? It's Hook. It's fucking Hook. And then he's getting twerked on by some fucking broad. My t-shirt money is now in the ass crack of some fucking stripper. So thanks, Hook. But I don't. But Jesus Christ, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Clip it.
Oh,
but actually, hey, it worked out in the long run.
I actually do hope they make another season, actually, because I would love to see the American Dragon on Total Bellas start memeing on John Laurinaitis. You have live footage of John Laurinaitis in his living room calling somebody in his underwear, saying, "Hey, bud, you fired."
What did Max Caster say about me?
Like, I'm embarrassed the fact that I'm hosting a post show for this crap.
I'm proud of you, Carl. I love this.
We did our Valentine's Day post of Hooked on You, but it was mainly for Jamie Hayter and only Jamie Hayter.
It's not right. It's not right. It's fucking trying to build an account and we get this bullshit on the account. Great. But
also follow a simp account.
Okay, but here's the thing, because those people, this is networking. This is
we actually
networking.
follow.
You got
it was a business decision.
It's a business. You have to follow these people. This is like following. If you want a stan account, you got to follow the other stans. And when you get big, you get rid of them. You get rid of them after that. It's over with.
I open up our Instagram and the first thing I see is Pro Wrestling Simp, and I'm like, what is this?
I don't look at that. I don't look at that stuff. It's a business decision because that guy promotes us, and then when we don't need him anymore, we toss him aside. That's what happens.
Yeah, well, we got go so fucking slap it on a t-shirt and continue to use the move forehead.
Unprettier.
This guy just say fucking forehead.
Switch.
What? This guy say forehead.
Yes, I did.
You think I fucking wouldn't catch that? You think nobody on this program would catch that? But I did. For weird.
You almost didn't.
For weird.
Let's be honest. You almost didn't.
Weird champ. This is what we resort to here.
All right. Next up.
Unbelievable. 5 head.
Next up, we have.
Why people happy? Pagu. Weird champ. Weird. Forehead.
Oh god.
Franker faces.
Oh.
Wowie. Why people sad? What else?
Look at how red my face is.
What else we got? Let me go on Twitch right quick. Okay.
Why?
Why do people happy? KW, LOLW, XQCL.
All right. The Acclaim promo now. It's Wednesday, guys. You know what that means. It's time for your weekly dose of the Pro Wrestling Injection right here on the Pro Wrestling Injection YouTube and Twitch. Mike is currently having technical difficulties, so he may be here, may not be here. All depends on when I have to flip over the goddamn transition. I am the Outlaw, Zach Droll, here joined by the goon himself, Christian. We've been out for 2 weeks now due to technical stuff, and they were at Arthur Ashe last week.
That's right.
So, let's just dive into it. We're not going to cover a lot of the heavy hitting news that happened. We'll save that for Tuesday. I will be here because I'm off that Tuesday because I took off that Tuesday. So Title Tuesday, you'll get a longer news rundown. Right now, we're here just to focus on the main news itself, and that is AEW's new media rights deal. Christian, just kick us off as I fix my camera.
Yeah, so today we finally got the news that has been very long awaited for the entire year, and that AEW has received their rights increase, which we all knew happened, but we were just waiting on the announcement. This has been, I mean, we've talked about this damn near every week, but we finally have details. We finally have.
I think you might be coming from your webcam.
Let me see.
I think because it sounds like staticky a bit.
It's probably just the mic getting old.
Fair enough.
But yeah, we finally got details on the rights increase. We finally got something. Hold on, let me just check about my mic. All right, yeah, it's good.
Okay, I wasn't sure because sometimes when it sounds like that, it sounds like the webcam.
But yeah, we finally got details. We finally got press release. But basically, the bullet points of what's going on with this rights increase is that, first off, and probably most important to people, is that AEW will be sticking and staying on what's it called?
Could have given me the heads up there, Mike. Shit.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you could have gave me the fucking heads up on to switch over the transition.
Well, I mean, I was just hoping and praying that it would finally fucking work.
So here I am now having to edit on the fly real fast.
I apologize.
Yeah, so the bullet points here from the AEW rights deal is that AEW is going to stick with TBS and TNT, obviously, and then it will also be simulcast. The shows will also be simulcast on the Max subscription service, starting in January.
Now, if only WWE could do that.
We have. Well, I mean, when they're on Netflix, it's not really going to matter.
I know, but still, if only they could have done that from the jump with the network.
But we also have Max is going to carry the pay-per-views in the library for a discounted price when it comes to pay-per-views. So you're still going to have to buy a pay-per-view, but it's going to be at a discounted price if you own Max.
It better be a heavy fucking discount.
Honestly, I'll even take half price at this point.
Yeah, I don't really. I never minded paying for the.
Neither did I.
I never minded because it's something I enjoy, but I get it why it's off-putting to a lot of people. But this should relieve that because a lot of people have Max. But
more than 200 million people have Max.
AEW, AEW is a lot less wealthy than WWE is when it comes to just as a business. So WWE could not be harmed by not having pay-per-views that you have to buy individually. But AEW would benefit them a lot. That's why they're keeping it.
Just real quick, speaking of pay-per-views, highly recommend people, if you have bought the Bleach Report pay-per-views, AEW, Triller and Bleach Report has sent out an email and ended up in everyone's spam folder. I know it ended up in mine.
It wasn't in mine. I
there
just
is-
checked.
There is an opt-in email for you to move all your pay-per-views that you have bought over to Triller. It'll be in your pay-per-view archives for Bleacher Report. All of mine did not transfer over, so I'm currently dealing with customer support on that.
Oh, good luck to you, sir.
And yeah. So if people just want to do that, so you don't lose your pay-per-views, damn near $1,000 worth of pay-per-views.
Yeah,
Yeah.
jeez, there has been that many up to this point, hasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
But yeah, so just go ahead and do that. Sorry to
but,
cut you off, but yeah, back to the news.
But yeah, so it's all the pay-per-views are gonna be on there. The entire library is gonna be on there. AEW has the figure that they received was said to be at the $185 million range. That was the figure that was reported. They were earlier in the day. It was reported as 150, but then it got clarified by Sean and WrestleVotes and a bunch of people that it was more around 185. A report from Sports Business Journal is claiming that Warner Brothers Discovery has equity in AEW. Nobody from either side, in an official capacity, had any idea where it came from, and claimed they had never heard of the element of the deal. So that Sports Business Journal claimed that Warner Bros. Discovery had equity in AEW. That might not be, not be true. So if you see that, don't really pay it any mind. But also, when it came to the deal, just getting more details on it. Warner Brothers, they put out their press release. AEW put out their press release as expected. We still don't have any news about Shockwave yet. Rampage is probably going to end up going away. When Shockwave ends up airing wherever that does, we still don't know that. That's the only mystery when it comes to AEW television rights that
It's
we don't know about.
it's looking like
Most likely Fox.
yeah, Fox.
But yeah,
Don't tell that to Eric Bischoff.
but this is
Boo-hoo.
but this is a very, very, very big day for AEW. Very, very it's a great day for pro wrestling because obviously this just makes sure that another form of pro wrestling is sustainable and successful in our current ecosystem, and it's a testament about to what this company has been, and it's kind of perfect timing at the 5-year anniversary. But it's very exciting. You're not gonna have to hear about this shit. That's the thing I'm most excited about this deal is that we don't have to
4
fucking hear about it
more
anymore.
years.
But yeah, very, 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 very happy that this finally got done, and perfect timing.
Oh yeah.
But that's really it. The only other funnily enough, this got caught within the cycle. It's AEW news, so I'll just detail it because it got caught in the cycle of because it's the only news we're going to talk about. But AEW, they are most likely gonna have like Max exclusive show, not a show, but like what Battle of the Belts is. So like say like every now and then they might have a Battle of the Belts type 1 hour show.
How about
Max
run like
that's exclusive.
the Fight for the Fallen on that? Do kind
I
of like
doubt
what
it,
like
'cause-
the first like Fighter Fest and Fight for the Fallen were. Those were all run on Bleacher Report for free when they came out.
Yeah, well that's because it was a charity show.
I'm aware, but also fucking Triller is charging $10 for that show, by the way.
For what?
For Fight for the Fallen.
don't you have to? I mean, Trailer, you have to pay for all of it, right?
Uh,
Because Trailer, you have to have well, international viewers have to have a subscription
no,
to
like
Triller
you can actually
to watch
buy
AEW.
Fight for the Fallen and Fighter Fest for $10 each.
Well, yeah.
Me
Well, that
being a
makes sense.
completionist, even though those events were free when they first aired, I bought them.
Well, they were free on Bleacher Report because of they just got the deal with their first deal, and Triller wasn't even in the picture yet.
I'm just saying though.
It just that's why they were there. That's probably why they're paid. That's the same thing that happens with New Japan World. Like stuff will be free on New Japan World, and then you'll have to pay for it afterwards.
I gotta send you my Triller login, Mike, don't I?
If you know, if you will allow me to watch pay-per-views through your account.
Well, yeah, because it's either you're gonna pay for them or I pay for them, and what else can I fucking do?
But what's it called?
That's a great question.
So the but that's really it when it comes to the net rights deal. Happy this got done, and I'm glad we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
But that
Pretty
brought us
much.
to our
actually, small news. Big AJ is having a match in AEW sometime soon. I have a feeling it's going to be on 0 Hour of Wrestle Dream with the Iron Savages. I think that's a easy direction to see it going.
I just have one thing to say about that.
What?
That match is gonna get a big boom.
Listen, did you see like the new remix of the Boom song with Rizzler?
I did not.
He called them.
Also, I'm sorry if I sound like crap. I am sick. So
he says, if you look at us, we are the 3 evolution of a Pokemon. He's not wrong.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, Big AJ, he'll be coming in for a 1-match deal, which is cool, and I like it because it's funny. But yeah, getting into the show here, 5-year anniversary of Dynamite. Very, 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 very loaded up card tonight. And we started with Mox promo. I mean, I don't know if you can even call this the Blackpool Combat Club because they haven't called it that, and they don't even have a name. Just Mox and friends. So we have Mox, Claudio, Pac, and Marina outside of the building cutting a promo on Wheeler Yuta and Bryan Danielson. Basically it's basically set up the end of the show, but very menacing from Mox. You had Claudio and Pat give their 2 cents. Marina spoke Moldovan, because that's where she's from. But yeah, so the show started off hot. We had the highly anticipated match between Ricochet and Will Ospreay, and listen, these two guys would not be where they are in their career right now without each other.
Yeah.
I mean, both of these guys. I mean, the first time I was ever exposed to Will Ospreay was the match with Ricochet in the Best of the Super Juniors. So it happened for a lot of people. That match went viral. They worked up and down the indies together. But yeah. This was a great, great match. Very, very good stuff. They even had a little callback with their spot where they did like the superhero pose in the middle. That was a callback to their original match in the Best of the Super Juniors back in 2016 or 2017, I believe. But it was just a fucking high. It's what you expected. I see a lot of flips, a lot of high spots, a lot of aerial maneuvers, a lot of stuff that you probably can't even fathom that 2 men are doing. But the match was great. They ended up going blow for blow and then hitting each other with basically everything they got. Will laid out Ricochet with a hidden blade, and while he was doing it, he was so exhausted, his body slumped over on Ricochet for the pin, but his shoulders were down as well. So Rick Knox counted the 3 for both these men.
I'm not sure if Mike is really focused or frozen.
No, it's frozen. What's it called? No, this thing's screwing up again.
I thought this motherfucker was focused on his phone for the longest time. Oh, holy shit. Yeah, so this match was phenomenal. As Christian mentioned, they did the flippy bit that got them over.
So the Rick Knox counted the 3 when both their shoulders were down. And then the word came down from Tony Khan that they were going to restart the match. The crowd was very pleased with that, so they start going at it. And not really a minute into the restart of the match, here comes Konosuke Takeshita to completely fucking ruin it for everybody. Gets involved, causes a DQ, lays out Ospreay with a power drive knee, and lays out Ricochet with a raging fire. And he holds up the international title, and that's how this ended. I get it, because what's it called? I really get it because this. I mean, that was probably the best way you can get heat on Takeshita, because a lot of people really like him. Just ruining a highly anticipated match, but these two are not. It was very clear within the match that these two were, Ospreay and Ricochet were holding a lot back. They were holding a lot back. They're definitely gonna have another one-on-one match, and what it looks to me is that a Wrestle Dream is gonna be a triple threat with Ospreay, Ricochet, and Takeshita. But there was a report that came out today within the midst of the media deal that got announced that kind of got overlooked. But Sean reported it, and Fightful reported it, that Takeshita is said to be receiving a huge push.
Which is good.
That's going to establish him as an upper card talent, and it could be happening as soon as the next few weeks, which it looks like it has started tonight. So very happy for that, because obviously he should. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So very happy to see that.
Yeah. No, not even close to being better.
Yes. All right. So.
Oh wait! You're back. Kind of. Speak.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yeah, you're good.
Is technology failing? Well, the answer to that question is yes, but fuck.
All right. Any comments you want to add?
Hey, I'm back. All right.
Any comments you want to add?
This match was fucking awesome. That's what I'll add before I fucking freeze again.
All right.
God.
Next up, we had Mercedes Moné and Camille in the back, and she's basically said, "Look at she played a video package of all AEW's great moments. It was all
her greatest moments.
Her greatest moments." But she was saying that she loves AEW, but she got cut off by MVP, who debuted last week and who is signed to the company. MVP showed up. He gave Mercedes his business card, and that was it. So they're continuing to tease the Hurt Syndicate, which is coming in, because obviously me and Mike were at the show last week, but MVP showed up, and it was heavily implied that he's trying to go after Swerve to manage him and try to poach him from Nana. We're going to talk about more of this, because there's 2 down and there's 1 to go.
Yeah, what was his famous line from last week? Like, let him know when he's ready to talk business.
Yeah, on the someone zoomed in on the business card, and Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, it says Hurt Syndicate. Even before MVP showed up last week, he filed the trademark Hurt Syndicate. So you could tell that was coming. But anyway, we had the TV time with the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and the Bad Apple, Brian Keith. And Jericho is basically patting himself on the back for what he's done for AEW over the years. But he then challenged Mark Briscoe to a match at Wrestle Dream for the Ring of Honor World Championship because he pinned him last week on Collision, and he wants to be the Nueve instead of the Ocho. So here comes Mark Briscoe.
Please no. Please leave it at the Ocho. It doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah, he's gonna what's it called? So Mark Briscoe comes out and he accepts the challenge for Jericho, and he basically said that Jericho he gave him his props, but then Jericho cut him off and said like Jay was I forget, he's like I forgot what he said, but he said it was to the extent like Jay was always better than you, or it's like and because everyone knows you're not as good as your brother Jay was, and that was fucked up. Obviously, that got a big reaction. Mark slapped the shit out of this guy. He told him to keep his brother's name out of his mouth, then accept his challenge. So we have that on the docket for Wrestle Dream. I don't think Jericho will win that match. I think they're gonna keep that on Mark.
Oh yeah.
But
Also, shout out to Hangman for being unhinged.
But yeah, after this we had Darby Allin. Darby Allin, he cut a promo, talking about a story that he had as a younger man.
He used to get spit on.
How he used to get spit on the back of his head, and when he challenged the guys, and the guys asked him what he was going to do about it, he said, well, one of them had a switchblade. He says, well, I'm about to get stabbed. And then Darby goes on to talk about how he put everything on the line to get that with the title match for Bryan, in which he ended up losing. For the chance to wrestle Bryan at Wrestle Dream, he didn't get it, but he is going to have an open challenge at Wrestle Dream, and he will be just, I don't know who he's going to wrestle, but he's going to have an open challenge. Part of me, and so I'm going to say this now because obviously this was nullified with the next match, but he talked about the guy pulling out a switchblade. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they're setting up a Jay White return for that open challenge, but that's not the case anymore. But yeah, I'm very excited. I actually don't have any clue. The first person that popped in my mind was obviously Swerve. And they still can do that because obviously it's Swerve's going to be on that show, whether he wrestles or not. It's in Tacoma. But yeah, I could see it being Swerve. If not, it's going to be somebody else. I have no idea who that would be. Wrestle Dream is a show with a lot of heavy New Japan involvement, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was somebody from New Japan as well. But there's also, but Darby, I mean, it was pretty evident. Me and Mike were talking about this in the fucking bathroom at Arthur Ashe last week, that Bryan is probably going to lose the title to Darby. And this was just a stall, and get to it later because Bryan's not going to drop the title to Darby yet.
Do you think Darby is going to be the Grim Reaper, setting everyone on their merry way?
No, but I just think, makes sense. Washington guy, younger guy.
I just mentioned it because
it makes sense because there was reports earlier that they were considering taking the belt off Bryan and putting it on Darby. That was the plan. And to be honest, I think it's time. I think Darby, as world champion, probably near the beginning of next year would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think
I
going into the new term of the media rights deal, I think that'd be a good step in the right direction.
Yeah. I think Darby. I'm just ready. That's hot. It's just he has to
not dying before that, which he's done a pretty good job at missing that, but he hasn't died. So, but yeah, I think Darby is the number one prospect that's going to take the title of Ryan. However, obviously, I think the third option besides Swerve, so for me it'd be Swerve, somebody from New Japan. Or number 3 is which I doubt because I think Swerve's going to be on that show. Anyway, I don't know if he's going to wrestle on that show, but I think he's going to be there. But I don't know where this Nana thing is going, so I think there could be a thing where Darby sets an open challenge, MVP comes out, and then that's when we get the debut of Bobby Lashley. And I think Bobby Lashley just fucking murders Darby Allin because look at Bobby Lashley and look at Darby Allin.
Now,
that's like fucking taking a bowling ball to a goddamn fucking potato stick.
where does this Shane stuff come in?
Well, I think he could beat him so bad that Swerve is gonna get. Swerve doesn't really like Darby, but they're still hometown guys. So like they Swerve's gonna get a big reaction regardless, and then maybe they could team up against the Hurt Syndicate. But all this is gonna end up with Swerve versus Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
But they don't have to do it with Darby in mind. I mean, Nana even teased wrestling again. They could do MVP or Shelton Benjamin, which we'll get to later, versus Nana, and then they beat the shit out of him so bad that Swerve has to come back. But what Zach mentioned about the Shane, I don't think Shane has anything to do with none of this. I'm just
talking about just Shane overall now. Because
I think Shane and Jim, we just have to wait to talk about that later on because there's no other place where Shane is going to be involved in other than one spot that was very, very evident on this show tonight. So even if he is coming in, because I still am not 100% I'm a lot more convinced than I was, but I'm not 100% convinced that he is. But I'd say it's about 70-30 right now that he is, and it has to do with the stuff that happened during the main event angle. But yeah, Darby, he's gonna have an open challenge, so we'll see where that goes if they tease anything. But we'll see. But after this, we also had Katsuyori Shibata in the back challenging Jack Perry to a match at Wrestle Dream after the stuff that happened on Collision with Suzuki, and Jack Perry attacked Shibata and bashed him up against the scapegoat bus, which is funny because I was driving to the me and my mom were driving to the parking lot at Arthur Ashe, and we passed the talent parking. We saw the bus sitting in there. I'm like, oh shit.
That must have been surreal to see.
I only saw the back of it. I didn't see the front. But you could very obviously tell within the nice cars and then the fucking janky ass short bus. But yeah, so
that actually gets you driven from fucking show to show by Jack Perry.
The night of Double or Nothing when somebody posted a video of Jack on the highway driving the scapegoat bus. I'm like, that's funny as shit. But yes, so
also those jackets should be shipping soon.
He beat up Shibata, and he accepted his challenge for Wrestle Dream. And then that brought us to our next match. We had Juice Robinson versus Hangman Page.
Great match.
After the events that happened on Collision, after he was hung by Hangman. And this was a great match. It didn't get started because Juice attacked Hangman before on the ramp before he could even get to the ring. They were fighting in the crowd. Juice was throwing beer and popcorn at people,
and then eating the popcorn.
Yeah, it was falling out of his hair.
I always mention this. I always mention this whenever I see alcohol get thrown in the face at wrestling shows. As someone who has had Tennessee honey whiskey accidentally poured directly into their eyes, it is excruciating pain when you get alcohol in your eyes. It burns really bad.
Yeah, I do not want to experience that. No interest in experiencing that.
I'll never forget that night. Sucked. I was laying on the couch And my friend was like, "Come on, Zach, have another shot." I'm like, "No." And his hand went after I knocked it away. His hand went down. I went blind, and pretty much my eyes were bright red for like 10 minutes.
Damn.
But that is my story. Okay, so this match went into the crowd. Juice was throwing shit, using his belt, using the strap from the strap match this past Saturday on Collision. And then he got into the ring. The match started. It was a solid match overall. It was really good. Juice is always good. Hangman is always phenomenal.
Yeah,
Actually,
these
fun
guys are-
fact: I was actually on the floor during that lumberjack strap match.
I know, because you got friends in high places.
Maybe.
But yeah, this was
You
good
do.
stuff. Hangman ended up giving Juice a low blow and then hitting him with a buckshot lariat to win. After the match, Hangman went to go hang Juice with his belt. But as he was doing that, who would show up and make his return? None other than the Switchblade Jay White. Jay White is back. He comes from the crowd to attack Hangman from the back. He starts beating down on Hangman. They start fighting into the crowd. Jay White, he ends up putting him through a table on the outside that they set up earlier, and then Jay goes to show up, check on Juice. But yes, Jay White is back. It's most likely going to be Hangman versus Jay White at Wrestle Dream, which is fucking awesome. And I'm so happy Jay White is back, and they're going to be using him in a prominent spot. The only thing that I was kind of like iffy about is like I'm not too big of a fan of Hangman losing. Losing very often, but I don't think he should lose, but I also don't think Jay White should lose. But after seeing stuff they were doing tonight with Ospreay and Ricochet, I think they're cognizant of that, and I don't think if they do wrestle, I think that probably Jay will win because Hangman has lost matches with this gimmick before that you wouldn't think he would really lose. One of them was one of them was recent. One of them was fairly recent where he lost a match that he had no business losing. I'm gonna go check it out. But yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Jay's back.
Same.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This is a good feud to start off with. You got someone who plays an amazing heel. Both play amazing heels.
That's I found it. Darby beat Hangman in July, July 31st on Dynamite, and a couple before that, Bryan beat him in the Owen final. But the Darby one was the one I was thinking about.
I think the Darby one had Swerve distract him. I think, right? Isn't that kind of Swerve appeared on the ramp?
There was something going on with that, but yeah, it's they could do that too. Where the fucking the gun, because the guns were attacked by Hangman earlier in the night, and Juice has obviously got fucked with. But yeah, they could do something where the guns could fuck him over.
I didn't even take notes. I'm not gonna say when following that this happened.
So after that, oh, by the way, I just want to point out I really enjoyed the short clips that they did throughout the show, showing memorable moments throughout the history of Dynamite, thus throughout these first 5 years. So just want to give them props to that because I actually really did enjoy that. So after this, we had one of those clips, Danielson versus Hangman from their 60-minute match on Dynamite, which one of the best matches in Dynamite history. Then we had a promo from Bryan Danielson where he basically started out saying, "Fuck Jon Moxley."
Yep, which he did while meditating online also.
And the first thing that came to mind when I said it again now is when Salamonster, bless you, Zach, Salamonster used to play. Yeah, sounded like it sneezed. When Salamonster on his stream would have that clip where he would just the audio clip of John Moxley saying "fuck Kevin Dunn."
Yeah.
After that, we had Britt Baker versus Serena Deeb, the returning Britt Baker, who according to somebody on Twitter, she was promoting toilet paper with that towel. So, yeah. After her last match, that's appropriate.
Jesus Christ. Like,
No, it's. I think it's because the Pittsburgh Steelers are a sorry fucking franchise.
can't be as sorry as the Carolina Panthers. I'm sorry.
Well,
That's a special situation.
I fucking live here now. I can make this. I can make this joke. I live in this
I'd rather be a Panthers fan than a
godforsaken
Steelers fan.
state.
At least you're not a Jets fan.
Yeah, well,
I had to sit through that god-awful game on Sunday at MetLife Stadium.
oh, boo hoo, boo hoo. We're in the running to get Devontae Adams. Oh, life sucks.
Did you not see that game?
Well, listen, I did see it, but
That was one of the worst football games I have ever seen.
unfortunately, my coaching staff, besides our head coach, is not a complete disaster.
Yeah, must be nice.
I mean, no, my coaching staff is. I mean, my coaching staff is good. Besides the head coach, he's kind of. I mean, they need to check him. He needs.
Hey, if we look at it,
you know how the injury report comes out.
Yep.
Weekly. Somebody put his name on it and it's put what the injury says Down syndrome. They said that about John Harbaugh.
well, hey, if we want to like. If we just want to be on
time, the fan base was saying, "Can you please evaluate John Harbaugh for a concussion?" But no.
I mean,
if we want to look at this,
that was a sick run.
Both the Jets and Ravens are in the same standings right now. So
yeah, but one of us has a future.
The Ravens should be 3-1, but
it should be 4-0.
3-1.
No, 4-0. We lost by a toe, and then John Harbaugh got CT in the middle of the Raiders game, and almost did it again in the Cowboys game. But fuck it, we ball.
At least your coach almost had CTE. Our offensive coordinator had like full-blown CTE 10 times over throughout that game. So, yeah, there's that.
Anyway, we had Britt Baker versus Serena Deeb here. Obviously, Britt got the hometown entrance because they're in Pittsburgh.
With Mariah May sitting in the crowd during this match.
The whole crowd
and
fucking stupid ass towels.
And Tony Storm and Mariah and Mina Shirakawa are doing stuff in Stardom.
Well, yeah,
right?
All right. So, I just want to just touch on that because I've been following and paying attention to it. So, Tony has been there for about 2 weeks now because she's going to be challenging Mayu Iwatani for the IWGP Women's Championship this weekend at their pay-per-view. So she's basically been doing like on a mini like break from AEW, just wrestling in Japan. And Mina obviously went back after Grand Slam, and she's been tagging with Tony. So it's been Tony and Mina mostly in tag matches. And during the post-match comments, like she would be asked about Mariah, and Tony is playing it like she has no idea who Mariah is. Like she's so fucked in the head, she has no idea who Mariah is. She says she's never heard of that name before, and it's like she's like dead serious about it too. So that's where the story is. But also, they did a thing here, which we'll get to later when we talk about this thing. But like Renee was about to mention that Mariah was that Mina was tagging with Tony, but Mariah cut her off before she could even tell her. So Mariah really doesn't know what's going on in Japan right now. But if there's one thing you need to watch about Tony's little excursion right now is that Tony had in the press conference for her match with Mayu Iwatani, she gave a quick little story about her love affair with Stan Hansen back in the day. Which, if you don't know who Stan Hansen is, well, number one, fuck you.
Isn't that Dr. Death?
No, that's Steve Williams.
Okay.
Stan Hansen was one of the best foreign wrestlers in Japan. He was probably
Oh,
was probably was the greatest lariat ever to this day. Just a complete fucking badass. But Tony gave a quick little story about her love affair with Stan Hansen back in the day, and she closed it with she talked about how she had on her final night with Stan Hansen, she had chewing tobacco running down her back, and she said that when he told her that when they're in the ring with her, they're the foreigners. They're the foreigners. And then Tony ended it saying, "Then he gave me a lariat."
That's a fucking visual I don't need.
Tony says, "Then he gave me a lariat, but not with his arm."
Jesus fucking Christ.
So Tony, so that's what Tony's doing right now. But yeah, the match was fine. Serena had no fucking chance here, because they're in Pittsburgh. Britt won with the lockjaw. Serena ended up beating her up afterwards, and then Queen Aminata came down to make the save, because she's been beefing with Serena on Collision, and that was all she wrote about that. After we had a little vignette in the back on Mariah, as we just mentioned, about how she was about to find out about Tony and Mina, but then she got cut off. But Renee got cut off. But then she started talking shit about Willow. Willow came up. They started stabbing each other, started fighting, and started getting pulled apart. But it's looking like we're headed for a Willow versus Mariah Wrestle Dream match, which I think that's fucking awesome. That's a great match up there. Those two women are going to be great together. So very excited for that. And just getting through the other vignettes here, little rapid fires, that we had Christian Cage talking about how actually first we had Hook, because they mentioned that Hook was in the back and Taz was taken out in the parking lot before the show, and he had to be rushed back to New York City. So I know NXT went on the road, but I didn't know the parking lot went with it. But Hook, he's fucking pissed off. He's livid. He says, "I'm gonna find whoever did this. And I'm gonna get him." And then Christian, he's talking about.
I think with just to talk about the Taz thing, I think either it's a red herring or maybe Hook himself took out his father.
I don't think.
Why would he take out somebody who's not going to wrestle?
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense.
I don't know. Fucking.
It's a swerve for the sake of a swerve, and that would be foolish, because, if that probably could have made something if Team Taz was still a thing 3 years later, but that's not happening.
It's Team Starks.
But
who can stop the path of Cage?
Team Starks is going to be in NXT in a couple weeks. But yeah, Christian, he's talking about how he's already the champ, and how he's the reigning defending next AEW champ. So he just cut a promo on that, and he said the lines, hook, line, and sinker. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, all right, maybe it was the patriarchy who took out Taz. But just a quick thing about the patriarchy real quick, which I don't know how long this is going to be, but Luchasaurus was rushed to the hospital with pneumonia in both his lungs. He was found unresponsive, and he was rushed to the hospital. And it's unclear when his return's going to be. That's an illness thing. That's not like an injury thing. So I don't know when that's going to be resolved. I hope he gets well soon. I mean, his health is first and foremost the most important priority. So I don't know when he's going to be back or how long it's going to take, but it might just be Christian and Nick for the time being. So I'm not sure. Or
unless they get someone.
That or if it's not going to be a long wait, then they kind of tease at it on TV up until he's ready to come back. So we'll see, but get well soon, Luchasaurus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a scary tweet to read.
Yeah, but after this, we had Private Party versus the Iron Savages. Quick little squash. Private Party's been getting a push as of late. Private Party They got Isaiah gets on the mic after the match and calls out the Young Bucks for a match, and he wants to. Uh, they already beat the Young Bucks once. They showed the clip from the second episode ever of Dynamite, which that was one of the best Dynamite moments early on. Was that Private Party win over the Young Bucks? So yeah, the Young Bucks end up coming out and saying, "You know what? Let's do it. We got a lengthy overrun tonight." But it's like, wait a minute, we only work multiple dates. We're not going to waste one here. So they walk back. And here comes Jack Perry to start beating up Private Party. Shibata comes and makes the save. They start fighting. Then see, Christopher Daniels comes out and makes a match, a 6-man tag for Rampage. That was all there was to that. This just makes me believe that it's probably going to be Private Party and the Young Bucks at Wrestle Dream. And I just think that's probably where we're headed here. After this, well, actually, just want to pay mention to this first. Actually, I forgot to mention this. During the Private Party match, they cut to the back with Stokely Hathaway watching the match. They did a vignette on Collision a couple weeks ago with him watching tag stuff, and he was in the crowd for that tag team, the casino tag team match, which I don't even think Private Party was in. So it's like he's scouting tag teams, but I think it's going to end up being Private Party, who he probably sticks to. So he'll have Statlander and Private Party will have a presence on both the male and female roster.
I don't think does that mean Private Party goes heel?
I mean, they could. They've been baby faces for a long time. I don't see. That's the thing, though. That's one thing. It's like I don't know if they would, because they just fucking saved Danielson and all that stuff like that. And it's like that would kind of be a weird decision. But with them being singled out with Stokely instead of nobody else, I assume it's going to be Private Party.
It's either that or like it could be like how the Statlander thing started off first, like face, then it's slowly gonna snowball into a heel.
No, yeah. I think they're gonna end up as heels anyway, later down the line. So yeah.
Because to be honest, I loved Private Party as heels.
When
they were with Matt Hardy, that stuff was fun. And what are you looking at?
Apparently, there's coffee flavored Doritos now.
Cool. I'd rather lick a fucking toilet bowl seat in Penn Station.
I would try the new Dorito flavor, but
to be honest, I wouldn't. I think Private Party is probably what it's going to be, and they're probably going to go heel in time with Stokely, just like how the Saturday thing was. But the only other team that I could possibly really think that would benefit from them is the Gates of Agony. But they kind of already had a manager with Nana, so I don't know if you wanted to swap them. We'll see. But after this, we had in the back we had Renee with MVP, and she was talking to MVP and talking about how he had a big announcement. Before he could say it, he got cut off by Prince Nana, and Prince Nana basically threatened him and said, "Listen, people forget that I used to be a wrestler." And MVP
you can
said,
find his jobber match on YouTube within WWE.
Yeah, he had a couple indie matches that are online as well. But Nana, he was talking about that, and then MVP said that sounds like a complaint to me, and I have somebody for complaints right there. And then the camera turns, and who is it? None other than the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin, standing there.
Stop me, no.
Yeah, big reaction for Shelton.
I need that fucking theme back, man.
Yeah, well, you can keep dreaming. She ain't coming back.
Fucking Mikey Ruckus, do a remix.
I don't know. Yeah. But we had MVP say, "Well, Sheldon here is our he's in charge of our complaints, and if you got a complaint, we can take it up with him." And Shelton was basically, "Well, I'm here now." He took Nana's coffee, he drank it, and he says, "Pretty good coffee," and Nana was pissed off. So that's two. There will be 3, and we all know who that's going to be. Even when Lashley left, and they said they still wanted to do the Hurt Business stuff. It's like wherever MVP or Shelton went, wherever MVP went, Shelton and Bobby are going to follow. Bobby Lashley is coming into AEW. Bobby Lashley is it's probably Wrestle Dream. You're gonna see Bobby Lashley. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not just him. I could see
Powerhouse Hobbs.
By the say Powerhouse Hobbs, being a part of it because he has been cleared. He just got medically cleared.
He also was watching the promo that MVP did very, like, noticeably at Arthur Ashe.
Yeah. Who?
Hobbs.
I did see this picture. Yeah, I did see that picture.
There was someone from the crowd. He was like intensely watching the
Twitter.
Yeah. So okay.
I'm not sure if they showed something on television. I didn't
No. So during the MVP debut last week, someone took a photo because Hobbs was watching that promo from like the curtains.
Okay.
So like, not saying it's not gonna happen. Not saying it is gonna happen, but just always like it's stuff like that.
I think that. Like how they merged the Mogul Embassy, the Mogul affiliates with the embassy, and created the Mogul Embassy, where Swerve ended up hooking up with Nana, and then with Brian, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I could see Shane Taylor Promotions being merged into the Hurt Syndicate, putting Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, and Ogogo with him.
I'm loving the sound of that.
I think that could work, but you go because I think if MVP wrestles, it's going to be here and there. I don't think he's going to be a wrestler. He's going to be a manager. So it would be obviously Bobby, Shelton, Lee, Shane Taylor, and Ogogo. So that'd be 5. And if they want to have a female in there, they obviously already teased Mercedes. So it's we'll see how it shakes out. They tease Mercedes. They could do something like that. Obviously, if it wasn't apparent enough, this is going to be a black guy faction. If you couldn't tell, this is going to be probably a blacks only water fountain for this one. But yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay. Ay.
Listen,
God.
We all know it's back. We don't gotta hide from it. But you ever heard of fucking?
Anyways.
Yeah. So before we get to the main event, gotta show some more love to some more of the clips they showed from Dynamite's great moments. First off, they showed. This was before the Shelton Benjamin and MVP thing. They showed the contract signing between Swerve and Samoa Joe before Swerve won the title, which was a very good contract signing. They then showed the Brody Lee clip from where he introduced himself. Rest in peace, Brody Lee. And the clip from the Dynamite where MJF and Will Ospreay went 59 minutes and 58 seconds. So... We have gotten spoiled with great fucking wrestling on Dynamite.
I would, man. It's just like it sucks, but I would wonder where AEW would be right now if Brody Lee did pass away. I wonder like where storyline structuring a lot of stuff would be right now.
I have a theory that whole period of Sammy, Scorpio, and whoever else were like flip-flopping back and forth between the TNT title would not have happened.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I don't really delve into hypotheticals when it comes to him. The only thing I know that was supposed to happen, that was clear, that he was supposed to feud with Hangman. He was supposed
over like who's going to be the rightful leader of the Dark Order.
Yeah, he was supposed. That was the feud. We were all so that was before he died. That we were all waiting for that. We're like, all right, we know he's probably gonna feud with Hangman, but when is that gonna start? They haven't done anything yet, but we didn't know obviously what was going on. But the only thing I do know that was probably gonna happen with him later on is that he wanted to go to Japan, and he wanted to work New Japan. So I think, and listen, I think he could have been one of those monster fucking heels in New Japan, like the Vaders, like how Jonah Bronson Reed now in WWE, how he was for the short time he was there, and when he did the G1, Bad Luck Fale in the beginning, Lance Archer when he started doing the Murder Hawk stuff. I mean, that guy could have been a fucking killer. I mean, he looked. I mean, the guy's name was Brody Lee. The guy looked like Brody, Bruiser Brody, and Bruiser Brody was famous in Japan, so that could have been so fucking cool. But you know, it happened. It sucks. You gotta remember and honor him as he was and what he did, which all the stuff he did in AEW was great. I mean, obviously the killer was a fucking the stupid ass fucking pandemic that robbed his debut in his hometown literally that week. But yeah, but anyway, that brought us to our main event. And our main event was fucking pretty great.
Very good. Yeah.
Because they fucking announced a. See, funny thing is like a year and a half ago, you'd see this match and be like, "Oh my fucking god, this is like a main event of the biggest show of a company, anywhere, anytime." I'm like, it's like now it's just like a Dynamite main event. I'm like, how like you're giving away Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada on free TV? You guys are fucking sick in the head. But that's the type of stuff you can do when you have a roster like this.
Did
well, that and with Danielson's career like ending,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say imminently, but within the very near future, because there's no shot he's gonna be wrestling in 6 months.
Did I'm not sure this was shared in the group chat, but did you guys see the MJF quote tweet about this match stipulation?
Yes.
Because a lot of people online could not comprehend time. This was a new one for wrestling fans.
But
I love how I got this immediately.
MJF tweeted though for
it said it. It literally you have to read, and it says you have to read it. You have to read, and it says his title is only on the line for 20 minutes. You have to read it.
MJF
you gotta read it.
Tweet read just like for people who didn't see it, guys. I had to.
What was that, Christian? What do we have to do?
You gotta read. You gotta read it. It says.
I'm gonna fucking kill all of you.
It says his title, the Continental title, is only on the line for the first 20 minutes of the match. I don't understand that. I don't understand it.
So,
what do you mean?
I should have read it.
Is the match over? Is it gonna title a job? What do you mean, dude?
So MJF's tweet read, "Guys, I had to stop what I was doing to read this graphic. After reading it repeatedly for a full 8 hours, I have come to the conclusion no human being could possibly comprehend this stipulation. It's impossible. At NASA, at Albert Einstein, at the tweet of God, please help."
Oh, I didn't see that last part.
And then underneath that, this post definitely wasn't sarcastic. Thank you, MJF. Who owns at Albert Einstein?
Thank you, Max.
Thank you, Max. I should have read.
How the fuck?
I should have read.
How the fuck does Albert Einstein have a Twitter account? The official account of the world famous genius.
I can't wait for MJF to come back and his post was like, "Yo, guy, we got a TV rights deal, and they named it after me." Fucking people already making a Max logo with Burberry on it. But listen, this was Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. You're gonna get a great match. The match was great. Go figure.
Very good.
It did elapse 20 minutes, so Okada's belt did not lose his title. Obviously, that was the only thing about the match that was not as crazy as the other. I mean, obviously, it wasn't as great as the last two matches. The Tokyo Dome match is still the best match, the one from earlier this year. But
I gotta go and watch that one.
Yeah, this was obviously Okada was Okada's going into the Continental Classic with the title, and Bryan is not losing the world title yet. So, and he's not winning the Continental title either because he's not going to be in the tournament. But yeah, it was a great match. Okada, he was really getting going. He hit Bryan with one of the best and greatest sounding rainmakers I've ever seen. It was fucking awesome. And then Claudio and Pac ended up coming in because Continental rules is that there's not allowed to be anybody at ringside, but they were behind the barricades. So Claudio and Pac were there waiting for the match. And Okada got distracted. He went for the Rainmaker, but Danielson countered it back into a backdrop. And then pinned Okada for the 3 count. Okada was so fucking pissed. He looked at Claudio. He grabbed his belt. He looked at Claudio, and he looked at everyone. He goes, "Fuck you," and "Fuck you," and then he stormed off. And then he hit, before that, he hit Danielson with a Rainmaker after the bell. He said, "Fuck you," and "Fuck you," and then he stormed off. But then here comes Claudio and Pac. They hold down Danielson. They're jumping him. Here comes Mox. He's about to beat the shit out of this guy. Marina too. But here comes Wheeler Yuta. Well, actually, before this, Mox says that, did you think I wanted to do this? If it was
you think this is about me?
You think this is about me? I would have done this years ago. And the way he said it hinted that Moxley isn't acting on his own, and he's being commanded or influenced by somebody higher than him. And a lot of people are thinking it's Shane. I think it's more likely that Shane is pulling the strings behind this more than ever. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the way, because they're saying on commentary, even Shivani said it, that Mox is like speaking in riddles. So it could just be Moxley talking weird and trying to. Because listen, Tony knows what he's doing. He knows if he's hinting towards Shane, people are gonna fucking bite on it and think it's Shane. So it could be a misdirection. But I don't know. But Wheeler Yuta comes down with a hammer and makes the save. I think he's standing up to Moxley. And he's getting ready to hit Moxley. He's like, come on, Moxley, come on. And they're looking, it's like, oh, is he about to... It's kind of like, I've seen it in the AEW before. It's like, oh, is he about to hit Bryan now? So what
I thought was going to happen is I thought Danielson was just going to, like, step in front of him and say, step up to Moxley and, like, not, like, push Yuta off to the side, more of, like, I got you. And then do it. And then, like, stab him in the back type of thing, but that's not what happened. So I don't, like, part of me thinks he will turn on him, but I don't know. Like, I haven't fully put it together yet.
It's going to take a bit for this shoe to drop. Like, something's going to have to happen for the shoe to drop and for Wheeler to stab him in the back.
I really don't think he should turn on him in the long run. It's going to give him a lot more goodwill, and it's going to give him a lot more, it's going to give him a lot more credit within the fan base if he doesn't go heel. Because if he goes heel, what is he going to add to what they have already? He's going to be, number 4 behind Mox, Pac, and Claudio?
I think at that point he'll just be their their fall guy.
See, but that's not doing it.
If he joins them, but no, I think
that would be horrible.
I think
that's not doing him any good.
If you have Wheeler go heel, have him go off on his own. Have him just be a loner.
Now, the only thing that makes me think he might now is because they did point this out on commentary. I don't know if this was coincidence or not. But they made kind of an emphasis on Claudio only took like one swing at Yuta in the entire time.
He didn't even go after him. He just kind of pushed him out.
Yeah. So there's that to keep an eye on, because if there is one thing that this company has taught us, at least, with earlier Dynamite, like the first 2 years or so, no small detail goes unnoticed.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very intentional. I don't think Yuta should be going heel at all because he's not going to do him any good. If he's standing next to Bryan, Dylan Bryan's ride off into the sunset and his final days as an active in-ring talent, it's going to do a lot more good for Yuta than it will for anybody else. And if one of Bryan's last matches is with Yuta in a babyface versus babyface capacity, and Bryan, I'm not saying he Yuta beats him, but if he puts Yuta over in a meaningful way with a meaningful match, and they go out on good terms, that's going to do a lot more for Yuta than him being number 4 behind Mox, Claudio, and Pac, and being part of a group that he was already a part of, just minus one person. And once Bryan leaves, Yuta would be on his own as a babyface, and he could still fight Claudio. He could still fight Pac. He could still fight Moxley. And then when those guys eventually turn babyface again, because they will, you can have a storyline with him getting in good graces again. I just really don't think it would serve him any well for Yuta to go heel. But Yuta is standing next to Bryan. Wheeler and Bryan are going to wrestle Pac and Claudio next week. So that should be very good. But that's how they went off the air.
Yeah, another small detail with their last trios match, you know, they were like kind of trying to break Yuta, I guess, if that's the right word. And he kind of did snap a little bit.
Yeah, he's been losing his composure. He's been real dejected when it's come to the situation, because they didn't strip them of the Trios Championship. They defended them on Collision. So they are still the Trios champions, and that they will defend them again. But there's going to be a point in that match where Claudio needs a tag, and Yuta's going to jump off the apron and voluntarily give up the titles.
Either that, or hear me out. When they set up for the swing spot, you can just have Yuta do like a flying forearm to Claudio. Because the spot with the swing is for Claudio to swing, and then for Yuta to do the drop kick, I think, right?
Yeah, he did. They teased that on Collision and out the rash. Like Yuta was, Claudio was doing a swing, and then Yuta was supposed to go in and do the drop kick, but he never went in. Like he never, like
so,
he
like
never,
instead of
doing the open, and he just never bothered to go in.
So instead of doing like the hot tag fake out, you could just do that, like doing the swing, setting it up, then Yuta hits him with an uppercut to the back of the head safely.
I mean, they could do anything. They could do anything. If they're gonna do something, it could be within the match. I think if anything is to come of this, it's probably gonna end up being within an angle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if Shane is coming in. He's probably gonna have something to do with it. But we'll see. There's a lot more to unfold with this story.
Yeah. Before we get into the wrestler of the week, I just want to read some of the comments. Hassan's dad's birthday is today. Happy birthday to him. And Larry brings up, this could be a new Hurt business. That's from when we were talking about MVP and Shelton. Yeah, it's going to be called the Hurt Syndicate. And then we were talking about Brody. He said that the Dark Order probably would still be a lot more involved. And I agree with that, yeah. Other things to really touch upon. Happy birthday to Nick. One of like the core members of this group when we first started. And
literally he is the OG, or one of the OGs.
And then 2 people out in Asheville, North Carolina. I know I have a buddy out there who got hit with the hurricane really bad. Yeah, hopefully everyone's fine out there. If you're from the North Carolina area, I'm from more of the east side, so I didn't get hit as bad. It was just rain. But thoughts and prayers to people of Asheville and to anyone who was devastated by this hurricane. Wrestler of the week, I'm going to give it to the returning Switchblade, Jay White. I'm happy he's back. Like, if it wasn't for Christian, I probably wouldn't be as big of a fan of him as I am now. So,
Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I will give it to Ricochet, because that was just a fucking banger of a match.
Yep. For me, I guess I'll give it to. Uh, I'm gonna give it to. I guess because of last week because we weren't here last week either. I'm gonna give it to fucking Kyle Fletcher because number one, that guy's been busting his ass for months now as a single star because he's been mostly known as a tag guy, and he's been just fucking great as of late. I mean, he transformed his body. He's one of the young stars in AEW that's going to be a real big player for them in the coming years. So I'm gonna give it to him because he's been great, and a lot of people don't talk about him.
All right.
And yeah, that was also just an amazing match last week.
Yeah.
I actually have a question for both of you before we wrap up.
Shoot.
Since it is the 5-year anniversary of Dynamite, off the top of your head, is some of your favorite all-time Dynamite moments or your all-time favorite? If you can think of that off the top of your head.
Favorite moment off the top of my head probably would be the Death Rider into the glass table with
On the debut episode?
Yeah, with Mox and Kenny. And then favorite episode of Dynamite would be the tribute show for Brody Lee. That goes down as one of the greatest episodes in Dynamite history.
Tribute show is unbelievable. But besides that, because tribute show, I mean that was one of the greatest pieces of business I've ever seen. But besides that, I don't really know. The first Grand Slam with Kenny and Brian was unbelievable. Because I got to be there for that.
Only Ticketmaster
awesome.
let me buy a fucking ticket for that. I'm still mad about that.
I was in upstate New York. What do you think I fucking feel?
But
at least you weren't denied access for no fucking reason.
I guess for just watching on television. I really can't pick just like a moment. I guess one of my favorite ones I'll say that just doesn't really get talked about enough was the promo segment between MJF and William Regal from early last year.
Oh yeah,
which was unbelievable. And I thought at the time that was just an incredible piece of business.
That also reminds me. This is also the Pro Wrestling Injection's 4-year anniversary.
Oh wow!
Because me and Nick started on the end of the day after the anniversary episode of the 1 year.
Oh, happy anniversary, guys!
I just realized that too. Shit. But all right, nice. Yeah. We appreciate you all for watching.
Wait, hold on. Let me get my answer.
Oh no! Fuck you.
All right. Well,
you're here, then you're not here. You're fucking lagging out.
Yeah, fuck technology. I will say from all the Dynamites that I've been to in person, the moment I marked out for the most was probably the debut of Jay White, which was just absolutely insane, because we were not expecting that at all. My favorite Dynamite, obviously besides the Brody Lee tribute show, is the Dynamite where Jay White first made an appearance, where Keith Lee debuted. I just thought from start to finish that Dynamite was incredible and really encapsulated like what AEW was meant to be. And if I one moment, there was a lot. I mean, I don't know, maybe Punk and MJF, their first promo battle.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. I probably should have put more thought into that, knowing I was going to ask you guys this, but it is what it is.
Hey, sometimes you falter on the wrestler of the week. Sometimes you falter on questions. What can we say? Shit happens. All right, guys. We will. Are you going to be around for Title Tuesday next week, Mike?
If the Mets are home, no, because I need to work.
Let me do a quick search for you then.
I think there's possible home games the 8th and the 9th. So. I'm assuming they lost today because I
Yes.
heard silence upstairs. Okay. Because usually when they're winning, my parents are going fucking bananas.
They have one more game. That determines it.
Oh, is it 1-1 now?
Yep.
Yeah, see, I would not have even known that had I not asked you guys the question.
All right, so I'll just keep up the 3-person graphic just in case then.
Yeah, we'll know by tomorrow or whenever the next game is.
Yep. All right, guys, we appreciate you all for watching. Thank you for 4 years of here. Thank you, AEW, for 5 years. And yeah, we will catch you all on Title Tuesday. Peace